Hello and welcome to Gameday U, Oklahoma's only weekly football pregame show on TV. I'm your host Cam Williams and I'm joined alongside esteemed analysts Michael Thompson and Andrew West. Plus Gameday U reporters Darby McCormick and Hallie McPherson will be live from Philadelphia with more on today's matchup. Team 131 took care of business this past Saturday in a primetime matchup with Sooner Hoops royalty in the house as well. First quarter and quarterback John Mateer is going to give the jet sweep to Deion Burks, and he'll evade defenders to put the Sooners up 7-0 early. Mateer again showing his escapability, and this time he's going to find Isaiah Sategna for the 36-yard gain to set the Sooners up in the red zone. Mateer then is going to take matters into his own hands and find the end zone. 14-0 Sooners at the half, and they have the momentum. Third quarter now, where Mateer is going to find the end zone on this 10-yard scamper. He's going to wait for his block. Look at that block there by Jaron Kanek, and the Sooners will go on to hold Michigan to 288 total yards and pull out the win, 24-13. The Sooners showed on a big-time stage that they are for real this year, and absolutely taking a talented five-star quarterback out of the game is no small feat.
And an 8.5-minute drive in the fourth quarter showed the Sooners' grit. Running the ball when the other team knows it's coming and still being able to shows huge character. But Jaden Ott only had 4 carries and 9 yards, and I was really hoping for more from the third best running back in the portal.
They always say championships are built in the trenches. The Sooners were pushing Michigan around on both sides of the line. Bryce Underwood went 9 for 24 while Mateer was 21 for 34. My money says that's thanks to the difference of pressure those two quarterbacks were dealing with. And if the big men up front can stay dominant, the SEC better watch out. Hallie, how are you feeling?
Hey guys, I'm in Philadelphia, but I'll be taking it back to Norman. Tight end Jaron Kanek has been a surprise in this offense. He is leading OU, the SEC, and he is the co-leader in the NCAA in receiving yards for tight ends, while also holding the longest reception for OU with 48 yards. Hey, it's Kanek time, not panic time.
Yeah, Hallie, Kanek has been balling, but let's talk about the guy throwing him the football. In the first 2 games of the season, John Mateer has put the country on notice with his play, but after another interception Saturday, Mateer knows he isn't perfect and is working to get better.
Helps me trust myself, you know, that it's one play doesn't define me as a football player, you know. One play in a bad moment, you know, could put a bad perspective on you as a player. But, I mean, in that moment, I missed. And I'm not perfect, and I'll get better. I just dropped my elbow, and it sailed on me, and that's on me, and I'll get back to it on Monday.
Last week, Deion Burks wanted to prove that he is one of the best players from the state of Michigan. Being overlooked by the school he grew up nearby was motivation for the senior, and Burks hit the Wolverines right where it hurts with 101 receiving yards and a touchdown. Feelings aside, he knew he had to do his job, or as the team says, his 111th.
You know, it's just not really that hard, just to put the team first. Just do my 111, try to do my job. Although I said it's personal, I just got to put the team first. It really wasn't going to let emotions get the best of me. Knew I had to play a good game, but do my 111 because my team would be depending on me sometimes.
Michael Fasusi was putting Michigan defenders on their caboose. 66 snaps with just 1 QB pressure allowed. Mateer could open a cat cafe with how calm that pocket is. And while he may already look like an OU legend and future NFL Hall of Famer Trent Williams on the field, Fasusi says there's always room for improvement.
I just did it. I was on to the next. You know, that's what my mentality is always gonna be like. And obviously, you know, take the good things and the bad things from the game. What I need to work on, what did I do good? How can I, you know, get even better from that? And that's really how I'm gonna move on. You know, watching film on those guys. Again, just keep preparing.
Great insight there from the true freshman. Now we're going to check back with Gameday U analyst Hallie McPherson, who is live from Philadelphia. Hallie?
Both OU and Temple are totally different teams than last year. Last season, Temple traveled to Norman and the Sooners dominated 51-3, and OU is favored by more than 3 touchdowns. But the Sooners still prepare like this is the biggest game of the season.
We're looking at it as like this national championship. Like we got to take these guys seriously, or we're going to their house. And we gonna around find out like we say. So, I mean, we can't take them lightly for sure. We got a target on our back as being at this university. So we got to take every opponent as they're going to give us our best shot.
And we sure will find out, but don't go anywhere. Me and Darby spent all day yesterday experiencing Philly for the first time.
And talk to fans of both teams while we're at it. My own version of the Philly special coming up.
Mom was always organized, but she started forgetting to pay her bills on time.
And she'd buy the same gifts over and over. Telling the girls about my Alzheimer's diagnosis was really hard.
At first we had our cries, but then we were like, okay, let's make a plan.
Early detection gave us time to adapt together.
It's so important for you to think about what you can do and making the most of what you have.
If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver. And we dedicate a lot of our time to going as fast as possible. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently, experiencing problems with their memory, or having trouble with routine tasks. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services, make a plan for the future, and access available treatments. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together.
We said we'd never give in to a meltdown.
Mariella!
Never leave the house looking, well, and never let them out of our sight. Cars get hot fast, and kids can be at risk. Before you leave the car, always stop, look, lock.
Welcome back to Game Day U. The Crimson and Cream are in the city of brotherly love this week looking to tame Temple. Game Day U reporter Darby McCormick is outside Lincoln Financial Field with more on this matchup. Darby?
Cam, it's been a great morning here today on top of an even greater day yesterday. Hallie and I got to explore the city as well as got some takes from Sooner and Owl fans on how they think this game is going to go. Take a look.
Destination Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, a state that hasn't seen the Sooners in 41 years.
Excited to soak in the history that Philadelphia has to offer.
So while Hallie and I were in Philly, we decided to experience the city in our own way.
Getting my workout in for the day. We're doing some stairs. Oh my gosh. Thankfully, I'm a journalist and not Rocky himself because this is not fun or enjoyable. This is our workout for the day. Woo. Just like the journey it took for us to get up those steps.
The journey for Team 131 was rough and some might even say rocky.
But fans are happy to see that progress has been made.
The last few years have not been great, but the excitement of this year, everything's looking up right now, and we're excited to see what happens the rest of the year.
I'm just thankful we have a defense now that can stop just about, I think we're going to be able to stop about anybody.
The Owl fans are sounding the alarm that this game might end differently than what most expect.
Really big underdog. I don't think many people are really ready for what we're going to bring to the field on Saturday. The energy is going to be really loud. It's going to be lots of red, and not Oklahoma red, cherry red.
But regardless of score, an away game is best summed up like this.
I just keep kind of pinching myself that I'm here and getting to enjoy and soak this all up, even if it's just for a short minute.
A minute of new sights.
We're gonna try our first official Philly cheesesteak today.
New bites.
Yum.
And a new form of love. Brotherly love.
Well, I'm sure gonna love seeing if it's music to Owl fans' ears when the city of brotherly love means ain't no love in Oklahoma. But that's all I got for me here in Philly. I'm gonna leave Hallie in charge for the rest of it. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Darby and Hallie. Playing any type of collegiate sport is hard enough, but excelling as a walk-on at a high-level SEC program is a different beast. Game Day U reporter Aiden Tyler is live with this week's Sooner Spotlight.
Yeah, Cam, Owen Hineki has made some huge plays for the Sooners this season, but 4 years ago he was playing lacrosse for Michigan's rival Ohio State, and now he's helping the Sooners beat Michigan in football. But Heineke's story is just so much deeper than that.
This has been my dream since I was little. My uncle played here, and from the moment I can remember, I was in OU gear. So to be able to run out on the field is what I've always dreamed of. And I knew that I wasn't going to get there sitting on the sideline, so I had to take a chance on myself and bet on myself. And that came at the expense of Coach V's patience, but it worked out.
He would really piss me off because there's a very calculated rotation. And then he'd get in there, and he'll be the first one to tell you. He'd go in there, and he would not be where he's supposed to be, and then that would make me even more mad. But I kind of liked him doing that, and he kept doing it, you know. I didn't look at it as disrespectful. I just saw it as a guy that, man, I know I can do something. So really, he believes in himself, and he's made a believer out of everybody.
I love Owen. Like, Owen's my dude, and to see him come from Ohio State lacrosse player to making plays out here on this football field is really inspiring to me, honestly.
Hineki adds his name to the list of former Sooner walk-ons to make huge impacts. His 11 tackles and 1 pass deflection lead the Sooners so far this season. We'll have to see what he does against Temple. Reporting for Gameday U, I'm Aiden Tyler.
Thanks, Aiden. When we come back, hear from a well-respected college football media personality on the state of the Sooners. Stick around for more Gameday U. The Sooners have got a lot of positive buzz in the media so far in the early portion of the season. One of those guys who's very high on Oklahoma as media personality, J.D. Pickell, who our Darby McCormick got the chance to speak with at SEC Media Days.
We're going to start with OU's offense. How do you feel like Ben Arbuckle is going to lead this offense this season?
It's so much more of a stable outfit than they were a year ago. Like, I think last year there were so many things that had like an if or a but or a, you know, like a lot of qualifiers, but it's much less a guessing game because Arbuckle and Mateer have worked together. Kuzieski's on staff coming over from Washington State. You feel good about guys like a Deion Burks if he can stay healthy. So I think there's a lot more where I'm like, okay, as long as the dudes running the show and Mateer, Arbuckle are on the same page, we can at least have a better jumping off point. I have a certain amount of affection for John Mateer, and it's not just the lettuce and the headband, it's not just the swag. I feel like he's going to have a lot of success, one. Same thing we said before with Arnold. This is not the dunk on Jackson Arnold. I think he's going to be great at Auburn, but we have seen John Mateer play Division I college football games and do it at a high level. And so that in itself, it's like, I know it's going to be a different level of competition, but that dude just has a lot of it factor to him. He's got some juice to him athletically, the playmaking ability. So I think what he does will translate, and I think it's going to be a fun year in Norman.
Jim Nagy,
Yeah.
how do you feel like he's going to help with this athletic program going forward?
Everyone across Norman, when he got hired, had a certain amount of like eyebrow raised to it. Like, oh, we got oh, we got him on our staff now. That's a good thing.
What do you feel like their record's going to be for this season?
I think 9-3 is where I lean. I think they're going to surprise a lot of people. At the very least, they're going to be an absolute pain to play every single week, which I don't know was always the case a year ago.
Great insight from one of college football's best media personalities. Now let's take a look at the matchup this week for the Sooners against Temple. Even though the Owls are seeking their first 3-0 start since 2015, they haven't seen a squad like the Sooners.
Yeah, Cam, Temple's averaging nearly 50 points a game, but like you said, they have not seen a defense like the Sooners. The Temple Owls absolutely destroyed UMass and Howard by 97-17, which is great, but he's going to win by a lot.
They're the Temple Owls, not the Temple of Doom. Quarterback Evan Simon is tied for second in FBS for passing yards, but that came against UMass and Howard. I'm not worried about the Sooners losing to a quarterback with 2 first names.
Temple's run game has been looking productive. Running back Jay Ducker has 215 yards for 29 carries combined, but he hasn't ran at a guy like Kendall Daniels yet. I don't see Ducker getting too far down the field today.
Now looking ahead to some SEC matchups this weekend where Vanderbilt travels to South Carolina in a showdown with Heisman hopeful Lenore Sellers. The Commodores are 2-0, and quarterback Diego Pavia always has Vandy in the mix when it counts. Should be a good one.
Well, Tennessee hung 72 points last week on East Tennessee State, and Joey Aguilar looks like the real deal. Hosting Georgia in Knoxville will be a special game.
We got a top 20 matchup brewing up in South Bend, Texas A&M, and Notre Dame. Aggie receiver Mario Craver is top 10 in receiving yards, but Notre Dame quarterback C.J. Carr is looking to bounce back from a heartbreaker against Miami.
Now down in the Bayou is non-ranked Florida against third-ranked LSU. Now, Florida used to be ranked until they unexpectedly lost to their in-state rival South Florida last weekend. Now, I would like to see if Florida can make a comeback on the road against Brian Kelly and his undefeated squad.
That Tennessee versus Georgia matchup should be a classic. When Gameday U returns, we're back talking about the Sooners.
The impact of a meal goes well beyond feeding our bodies. Because when people are fed, futures are nourished. Everyone deserves to live a full life. And with your help, together we can end hunger. Join the movement at feedingamerica.org/actnow.
You've done the hard part. You quit smoking. Now do the easy part and get scanned for lung cancer. If you smoked, you may still be at risk, but early detection could save your life. Talk to your doctor and learn more at savedbythescan.org.
All right, look at you taking the stairs. Who are you?
We're your lungs. We are proud of you for quitting smoking, but you still may be at risk for lung cancer.
A routine cancer scan can detect it early when it's more curable. Good to know. Well, I gotta go somewhere.
So do we.
So do we.
Listen to your lungs. Get a routine screening that could save your life. Talk to your doctor and learn more at savedbythescan.org.
Welcome back to Gameday U. Now it's time for us to break down some of the keys to a Sooner win this weekend. In this early portion of the season, the special teams unit has been a low point, and quite honestly, they're the reason the Crimson and Cream didn't beat Michigan by more than 11 points. Wide receiver Isaiah Satania muffed a punt in the third quarter that Michigan recovered in plus territory, which led to 3 points for the Blue. And earlier in the game, linebacker Samuel Masigo had a costly running into the kicker penalty that resulted in a fresh set of downs for Michigan. I expect this unit to be better this week.
Well, the Sooner defense has been rock solid to start 2025. However, the star of the show, R. Mason Thomas, has been a bit of an understudy. After 10.5 sacks last season, the projected first-round pick has yet to record a single sack and only has 3 tackles. For the Sooners to be this good without a player like him on form is exciting, and beating a team ranked above you and only allowing 16 points so far is impressive. So if he decides to join the party in Philly this weekend, this team is going to be a nightmare to play against.
Last week, I said OU would beat Michigan if they could figure out the run game, but that room may as well not even dressed out for the game since the quarterback seems to be the best running back. John Mateer had 19 carries against Michigan. The three backs that rotated throughout the game combined for 19 carries. That's not sustainable, especially in the SEC. Temple is a game to try out some new things. Start Torrey Blaylock, have Jay not rotate in. They can both find some rhythm and just stop there.
OU defense could be one of the best in the nation, but they are lacking in one area. They haven't forced any turnovers from the offense, while OU's offense has 3 turnovers so far. Last season, OU's defense forced 21 total turnovers, and the turnover margin evened out to 0. Now, with this kind of OU defense, I would expect more turnovers from the other team's offense. But I do think OU will be seeing turnovers from Temple today. Now, that's it from us in Philly. Back to y'all in the studio.
Thanks, Hallie. It'll definitely be interesting to see if the Sooners can get that first turnover. Coming up after the break, we'll have some new faces on set ready to make some bold predictions for this weekend's games.
Food isn't just fuel to live, it's fuel to grow. My family relied on public assistance to help provide meals for us. These meals fueled my involvement in theater and the arts as a child, which fostered my love for acting. The Feeding America network of food banks helps millions of people put food on the table. When people are fed, futures are nourished. Join the movement to end hunger, and together we can open endless possibilities for people to thrive. Visit feedingamerica.org/actnow.
There are a lot of temptations facing young people today, like electronic cigarettes and skateboarding. Each vape pod can contain the same amount of nicotine as a pack of cigarettes. This can lead today's youth to a lifelong addiction and severe lung damage. Recall and consider the facts before making a poor decision.
The health class film guy isn't the best person to talk to your kid about vaping. Got a few minutes? You are. Start the conversation with your child about vaping today. Eyes forward. Don't drive distracted.
Did you know that trash, like plastic bottles and fast food wrappers, can carry germs and bacteria? When these items are tossed in the street, they eventually find their way to a river or lake and have a negative impact on aquatic life. Keep our waters clean by putting your trash in the bin. For more information, visit bit.ly/Norman Stormwater. Did you know that items like paint, cleaning solutions, pesticides, solvents, and other chemicals are considered household hazardous waste? These chemicals are dangerous to our environment and water quality when they are dumped in our storm drains or gutters. Fortunately, the City of Norman has a dedicated household hazardous waste facility where you can properly dispose of these items. Call 405-366-5463 to make an appointment. For more information, visit bit.ly/Norman Stormwater.
Mom was always organized, but she started forgetting to pay her bills on time.
And she'd buy the same gifts over and over. Telling the girls about my Alzheimer's diagnosis was really hard.
At first we had our cries, but then we were like, okay, let's make a plan.
Early detection gave us time to adapt together. It's so important for you to think about what you can do and making the most of what you have.
If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together.
Welcome back to Game Day U, where some new faces are here in studio, ready to give some bold predictions for this big third weekend of college football. With me are Hunter Cornejo, Ariana Smith, and Dalton Davis. Up first, a primetime Southern battle in Knoxville between the Dogs and the Vols. Hunter, who comes out with the win?
Cam, Tennessee is second in total offense in college football with over 600 yards per game. Transfer quarterback Joey Aguilar has looked extremely comfortable in his new system. Neyland Stadium will be rocking as the Volunteers pull off the upset.
Hunter, I think we need to have a huddle for this pick. The Bulldogs have established their dominance in their defense, limiting Marshall to 78 rushing yards on 31 attempts. With Christian Miller and Jordan Hall being back and healthy, they'll be able to stop the Vols' running game.
Ari, I couldn't agree more. Georgia has beaten Tennessee 8 times in a row, and all 8 of those games have been by at least a 14-point margin. Not to mention, Tennessee will be without both starting cornerbacks. I don't even think Kirby Smart will need to be smart for this matchup.
The story of the year so far with the USF Bulls taking on the University of Miami at Hard Rock Stadium. Guys, can USF pull off the upset?
They can, Cam. South Florida has been one of the best stories in college football, with quarterback Byron Brown leading his squad in the air and on the ground in yards. 2 top 25 wins on the young season. The Bulls make it 3 today, giving the U a humble L.
Surf's up is what we'll be saying when the South Florida Bulls get wiped in the hurricane. Miami's offense is looking strong and ready, as Carson Beck is averaging 472 passing yards per game on a 76% completion rate this season. It's all about the U. Give me Miami.
Hunter, don't you know tricks are for kids? And you just fell for the okie doke. In the past 3 matchups, Miami dropped 50, 49, and 45 points. Carson Beck is coming off a 91% passing game where Miami put up 45 points. South Florida should just go out there and have fun.
Marcel Reed and this tough Texas A&M squad travels to South Bend to take on Marcus Freeman and the Irish. What's the verdict?
Maybe somebody's going to agree with me on this one. Notre Dame was unable to find its rushing attack versus Miami, but with the bye week to prepare, the duo of Jeremiah Love and Jadarian Price is going to run over an Aggies defense that struggled against the run. Give me the Fighting Irish.
Now, that's a pick I can get behind, Hunter. Running back Jeremiah Love had only 10 rushing attempts and gained 33 yards. But if Notre Dame can feed him the ball and get the running game going, I have no doubt that they'll get the win at home. Give me the Fighting Irish.
Guys, I'm taking the underdogs, Texas A&M, to upset the Lucky Charms. A&M has had 23 plays for 20-plus yards in 2 games. Also, their defense recorded 3 consecutive sacks against Utah State. That hasn't been done in the FBS game since 2015, so don't expect a lot of love in this game. Notre Dame is going to fall like dominoes.
Lastly, OU's first road game of the year versus the Temple Owls, with the Sooners opening up as a 23.5-point favorite. Who comes out on top?
Dalton, hopefully we can agree on this one. Despite only allowing 16 points, Sooners defense is yet to record a takeaway. Sooners win big on the road.
OU is the only team in the country ranked top 15 in passing offense and passing defense. 3 of OU's players, Kinnick, Burks, and Lewis, are least averaging 70 receiving yards per game. The Sooners will bring back the win and be a Philly cheesesteak.
Guys, OU is going to win this one. They're not only going to win, but they're going to drag Temple like a wedding gown. Give me the Sooners.
Sounds like a lot of great games this weekend. That's it for us for Game Day U. Have a great and safe game day.